Hi, I'm Obi-Wan. This is Red Chair Reading. I've made it back to my lair. Today I'm reading the Black Book of Secrets by F.E. Higgins, Chapter 33, fragment from the Memoirs of Ludlow Fitch. There ensued a rather comical scene. Jeremiah had the advantage of surprise and weight, but these were countered by the brandy he had consumed. Joe was light on his feet, and was the faster of the two. With speed that defied the laws of physics, Joe leaped over the back of his chair, displaying the grace and agility of a young gazelle. In 2 strides he was at Jeremiah's side, and he whipped the book from his sweaty clutches. Jeremiah cursed, and lurched like a drunken elephant, from one side of the room to the other, while Joe merely sidestepped his clumsy attempts to grab it back. I watched uselessly from the floor where I had fallen, severely winded after sustaining the impact of Jeremiah's full weight. The entire display lasted no longer than a minute. Jeremiah was forced to give up and slid down the wall to sit in a most undignified fashion, with his legs splayed and his mouth wide open. His face was bright red, his eyes were bulging, and his lungs rattled with every drawn breath. Joe stood over him, his clothes disheveled, and his hair wilder than ever. His spidery shadow danced gleefully on the wall. I dragged myself up and joined him. "I must protest at your behavior, Mr. Ratchet," scolded Joe. "It is not what I would expect from a man of your standing." Jeremiah struggled to his feet. "Listen, Mr. Zabadow," he said, and all pretense of sobbing and remorse was gone. "You don't seem to understand. You're finished in this place. The villagers are coming to get you. You'll be run over. You'll be run right out of here. But before you go, I want the book, and what I want, I get." I laughed. Poor Ratchet. He was the one who didn't understand. Joe would never give up the book. "Absolutely not," said Joe. "The book is confidential, and I will never surrender it." "Ah, now, Zabadow," persisted Jeremiah, and Joe winced with distaste at this familiarity. "Don't be like that. What use is the book to you anymore? Why take it with you when I can have it and make good use of it? We're both businessmen, Zabadow. To keep it would be nothing short of spiteful." "Exactly what would you do with it, Mr. Ratchet?" asked Joe. Jeremiah looked surprised. "Blackmail, of course. Only I'd make a better job of it than you. 5 shillings at the church gate? Not very sophisticated, if you don't mind my saying." I stood open-mouthed at the sheer cheek of the man. "Joe didn't write that letter," I began, but Joe motioned with his hand for me to be quiet. "Under the circumstances, Mr. Ratchet," he said, "I do not feel I can take your pledge. I think it is time for you to go." Jeremiah surprised us both and held up his hands in surrender. "As you wish," he said, and made his way meekly into the shop. I watched from the doorway as Jeremiah stopped at Saluki's tank and placed his hands on the lid. Now what was he going to do? "Give me the book," he hissed at Joe through his yellow teeth, "or I will kill your precious frog." "I'm warning you," said Joe quietly. "Do not touch the frog. She does not like it." "She does not like it," mimicked Jeremiah, like a petulant child. "Give me the book, and it won't matter." If this is interesting to you, please be sure to boop the like button. You'll help the video spread to other people. Thank you very much. "Ha! Don't touch the frog!" Joe's voice was menacing. "Ha!" shouted Jeremiah, and he flung the lid away, reached in, and grabbed Saluki with both hands. "No!" shouted Joe, but it was too late. Jeremiah yelped and dropped her. Saluki landed on the floor with a soft thud and sat very still, looking a little dazed. "I think it bit me," Jeremiah said, his eyes wide with surprise and confusion. I think it bit me." Undeterred and desperate, he picked up the tank and raised it above his head. "Give me the damned book, or the frog gets it." Joe and Saluki looked at him sadly. "Believe me," said Joe, stepping into the shop, "it won't do you any good." And at that, he handed the Black Book of Secrets to Jeremiah Ratchet. Wow, I didn't see that coming. Jeremiah's eyes shone as he snatched the book with a triumphant crow. "I'll be the judge of that." Without another word, he stomped out and slammed the door, gracefully and precisely. Saluki climbed up the counter and back into her tank. Joe replaced the lid and dropped in a couple of bugs, and the frog chewed them as if nothing had happened. And it was strange. I never thought a frog could look satisfied, but at that moment I swear Saluki did. Her colors glowed with a vibrancy that near lit up the room, and her bright eyes seemed to say, "You were warned, Ratchet. You were warned." That's the end of chapter 33. Thank you for joining me, and join me again for chapter 34. Bye.